It is August 27th, 2018. This is the Wrestling Inc. podcast, Monday Night Raw edition. I'm Glenn Rubenstein, joined by Raj Giri and Matt Morgan. Matt, how you doing, man?
Doing good. How are you guys?
Doing well. Interesting Monday Night Raw tonight. Had bookended with Braun Strowman and Roman Reigns. Had some surprises within the context of the show itself. All in all, what did you think of the episode tonight, Matt? And we are, two more Raws after tonight, and we're at Hell in a Cell.
Like you said, very, very well done, I thought, bookending-wise, right?
Yeah.
Better than, this is a good episode. I got to give him credit. I was entertained. I was entertained by the majority of tonight's episode because any type of story that has a really strong beginning and they loop it back at the end toward that beginning, I think it's a successful night for Raw because they're usually so far all over the place.
And they seem to turn Braun Strowman heel, and we'll talk more about that later. I mean, that seemed clearly to be a heel turn. Are you kind of surprised that they did that so soon?
Yes, that is definitely surprising. Do you think it will last? Like, do you think that will stick?
They need heels. They don't have any right now. You know, McIntyre will be there. He's not there yet.
I don't know how to say that. Like, Braun was in my gym this past week, right? Mm-hmm. And I was telling him, I was congratulating him. I'm like, dude, you have figured out the hardest thing in big man wrestling 101, which is to figure out how to get empathy as a babyface, or better yet, let's throw it out the window, get over as a babyface.
Yeah.
Like, you've done the impossible, bro. Congrats. Keep it up, keep going. He goes, oh man, the old man, he's got big plans. I don't know, you don't necessarily know what they are, is what he says. He goes, but they're big. And I'm just gonna keep doing whatever that they give me and just keep trying to knock it out of the park. He's very humble, but there's no mistake that he was in this babyface swing. I swear to you guys, this past when we do our show last Monday.
Yeah.
This was this past Friday, like literally 3 to 4 days ago.
Okay. Huh.
So I don't know. I mean, maybe they threw this on him last second too, and I don't know. But the goal is his own mouth was hopefully to get to him and Roman at Mania.
Huh.
It'd be something. I think that'd be a great match. So they made in the opening segment tonight, Braun saying he's going to cash in for Hell in a Cell and have that match for the Universal title against Roman Reigns there. Out came Dolph Ziggler and Drew McIntyre, and it set up a tag team match for the end of the evening with Braun teaming with Roman against Dolph and Drew. Yeah, and it worked out. At least storyline, it worked out, right? Not this idea of, oh, hey, we're going to face each other in Hell in a Cell, but tonight we have to be friends. We have to be partners. We have to make it through this. I like the way that it ended, and we'll talk about that later. Baron Corbin came out, talked about what a great job he's doing as general manager, better than Kurt Angle ever did, and then set up a match between himself and Finn Balor. It keeps going on and on and on. Finn won by DQ. Baron turned it into a no DQ match. And then got a legitimate win with End of Days for the pin. Matt, how do you feel about this feud between Baron and Finn continuing on?
I don't know. I don't need to see it as a fan, I don't. I want it to do well. And the other day I was looking up, I don't know how it popped up on my Instagram, but it did. It's like the top 5 merch movers. And to my understanding, Finn is like 3 or 4, right?
Huh.
Yeah, it's Roman, Cena, AJ. Or no, yeah, Roman, Cena, AJ, and then I think you're right. I think it's
then him and then Rollins after.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I didn't think that was possible because they've been booking him like such a clown without being the demon persona, right? But so I don't know. He needs to be on TV. Is the way that they see that. If that's where he is on that merch list, he's got to be continually on TV, no matter what crap they continue to put him in and hurt him with. This doesn't help Finn at all, in my opinion, doing anything with Baron.
Yeah, kind of got some momentum back. He was the demon at SummerSlam, and then a great match with Roman last week, and then back. He's kind of back to where he was before, right? Now, back to where he was before SummerSlam. So they clearly see Finn at a certain spot, and that's where he's going to be. They see the demon as a main event gimmick, but clearly don't want to use that often. So I mean, he kind of is where he is. It kind of sucks. I will say this: we didn't really mention Roman's promo.
Yeah,
I thought Reigns did a really good promo to kick off the show. Like the stuff with him and Braun, I thought was really good. Roman seemed natural. He didn't seem like he was reading a script, which sometimes I fault him for.
Yeah.
So I thought he was good there.
Yeah, and the two of them have really good chemistry.
Yeah.
Work-wise. I did tell Braun that I brought up how I've talked to him forever. So I was telling him about how, like, dude, your Austin 316 moment. No offense, dude, they blew it. It was the night of the ambulance.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? And I was like, everyone, I do a podcast. My two guys that do it with me were saying the same thing. Fans were saying the same thing. I was like, what is this? Why do they not just go with what's hot right now and listen to the fans when they're that hot for something? What am I missing? How is it different than when I was there, And he's just so humble. He doesn't really push back. You know what I mean? He just says things like, I just do what they tell me to do and do it to the best of my ability. Fans have been good to me. Oh, it shucks. Like, he's a big, giant thing of humbleness. So it's like, dude, no. Tell them, like, what the fuck? Let's go. I'm hot. Let's fund me now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, him and Seth have been basically the two hottest, most over baby faces on TV. Obviously the merch sales shows something else. Roman gets the biggest reactions, but they get the biggest babyface reactions. Turning him.
How's Braun's merch not high up on that list, by the way? How's that not like 2, 3?
He's only got 2 shirts, doesn't he? Or maybe 3 now. Monster in the Bank, Monster Among Us, and Get These Hands.
Okay.
Finn's got a new shirt every week, it seems like.
Okay. That makes sense then.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I feel like with Strowman in general, when I go to these events, you don't see a lot of Strowman merch. I mean, you see them selling it, but you don't see a lot of people wearing it. I guess he's just not that kind of wrestler that you buy his stuff. I don't know.
They just all chanted, though. Like, he was telling me, like, on the house shows and stuff, like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
How they'll randomly start chanting it in the middle of other people's matches, he was telling me, too. And somehow, in the last swing, how the house shows. His elbow is screwed up, too, by the way. I thought I'd give you guys that update. He's got a screwed up elbow. He was in the gym lifting with this huge elbow pad. Like, what are you lifting for if you're hurt? He's like, I've been out. He's like, I've had this since, I want to say, 3 months now. His Big Show somehow landed on it. Did an elbow drop off the top rope on one of the shows to him. Landed at Braun's arm. Normal men, that would break their arm.
Yeah.
Well, Big Show, that would have been last October because Big Show's been out since then. So
that's how long he's been working with this injury, man. So, like, Homeboy's been working with an injury on top of this,
Jeez. Yeah, so that's been almost a year.
Oh.
So everyone's asking, Matt Morgan, are you clipping your nails over there?
Dude, you fans need to, like, listen to what we're saying, you losers.
Well, speaking, of getting your groom on.
God.
Let's take a moment to thank the sponsor of this episode, which is Dollar Shave Club. Dollar Shave Club has everything you need to get ready in the bathroom, and they are much more than just razors. In fact, they deliver everything you need to look, feel, and smell your best. They've got shampoo, conditioner, body wash, toothpaste, hair gel, and even a wipe that'll leave your tush feeling tingly clean. And I personally am a big fan of their amber and lavender calming body cleanser. Also love the sage and black pepper hair and scalp shampoo. Love this stuff. Smells great. Never smelled anything like it. It is a manly smelling product, so much better than all the rosemary and floral and, yada, 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 the herbal essences, the, days of yore, the shampoo that guys would have to buy. I love Dollar Shave Club, and all of their products are made with top shelf ingredients that won't break your budget, so you'll feel the difference. Plus, shipping is free with your membership. We have got a great way to try a bunch of Dollar Shave Club's products. For just $5, you can get their Daily Essentials Starter Set, which comes with the body cleanser, the One Wipe Charlies, yes, which are their amazing butt wipes. I feel like we've gotten so much more intimate on this podcast with our audience in recent months. We've got something for everyone here. And of course, you also get their world famous shave butter and their best razor, the 6-blade executive, and they'll keep the blades coming for a few bucks a month. Plus, add in shampoo, toothpaste, and anything else you need. You can check it all out at dollarshaveclub.com/INC. That's dollarshaveclub.com/INC. And you've heard Matt talk about it before. Matt, as we've seen, you were a fan of personal grooming. And let's face it, dude, you're a big guy. You got a lot to groom. You got a lot of body hair to shave. And Dollar Shave Club steps up to the challenge.
It does. It really is. It's like taking a machete to a werewolf with me. What happens when you use a straight edge razor like these and you use it on your body, like your back, so I can do my bodybuilding competitions and stuff? What happens is you develop even more coarse, thicker hair after, right? That's why they always tell you don't shave your body if you don't have to, right? Well, I'm well past that point of no return. So it's usually generally every 2 to 3 days my poor wife would have to do that using the Venus razor, things like that. With these razors, not so much. I do it once every 2 weeks and I'm good because it cuts that much deeper. It's safer. But the best part, Werewolf Boy here goes through razors quick. And not with these. That's, in all honesty, they last me forever.
It's awesome, man. DollarShaveClub.com/INC. Mr. Raj Giri, what'd you have to say?
I was going to say, people that are watching on their YouTube channel, you see, like, you know, I grew them all over, even though I've got the beard.
Tell us more, Raj.
Well, with the shave butter, back in the day when I'd use shaving cream, you know, or like the gels and stuff, I'd always get like little nicks and cuts and stuff. With the shave butter, it's just smooth. I get nothing. It's just, you know, shave. It works perfect, and then you're done. You're not having to cover up, little blood nicks and stuff like that. So
yeah. And seriously, with us guys having a beard, that shave butter helps because Raj, you get around the edges. Get where with the shave butter, being able to see what you're shaving is the key. How many times when I used to use shaving cream did I end up having to shave my entire beard off because I couldn't get it even?
Screwed up the line. Yep.
Yeah. So shave butter is where it's at. DollarShaveClub.com/INC. Love having them as a sponsor, and we thank them for supporting the Wrestling Inc. podcast. And remember, everyone, when you support our sponsors, you help make this podcast possible. After that tonight, we had a bit of a surprise. Dana Brooke had a match, her first match, and she's had one match in the last 9 months on Raw, and tonight against Sasha Banks. And I'm just going to say it, I thought she looked really solid tonight. Maybe it's that we haven't seen her for a while, but I thought this was pretty good. She had Titus Worldwide with her at ringside. I think they should give Dana more matches.
Yeah. She did perform better, Raj. She did.
Yeah, she didn't look bad, for sure.
Still not enough for me as a fan to want to watch.
Yeah, I feel like every time she's going to do a move, it's like slow motion, her getting there. Like her getting in position or her getting, wrapping her arms around or doing whatever to set up for it. It looks really slow and just like she's overthinking it. I don't know what it is. But then when she actually performs the move or she does the flips and stuff, it looks really cool. But just getting there, it looks like she's just moving really slow.
Doing a gymnastics routine. That's what I was thinking of tonight before she went and did the into the corner, that move. That's what it reminded me of, but I thought it looked cool.
That's what she used to do.
Yeah. So it makes sense. But it was different. I mean, we talk about how these shows are repetitive. Would you rather have seen this or her go against someone from the Riot Squad? See now, and like that makes sense what you're saying. That like logically, yes. But I'm just being honest. There's something about it that this would have been clickbait as far as click off this damn channel bait to anything but this match.
Honestly, up until this point, I was feeling like clicking because you had Baron Corbin in a two segment match, and then you had this. It started off kind of slow, and then it picked up. I thought.
I don't know what it is, Raj. It's we should be like Corbin. They're giving him 2 segments, right? They're trying to get this guy over. We should be not excited, but give them their props. We're trying to get a younger talent over. I don't know what it is because I feel like Captain Hater tonight because I don't want to see that either.
Yeah.
With him specifically, I'm saying.
I think with him, just less is more. I just think the long matches don't work for him. He's a big guy. He can get away with shorter matches. He doesn't have to do 20 minutes, and he goes to, it's like you're 90 seconds in and you see a chin lock, and it's just slows down the pace of the show right off the bat.
Yeah, it does. They got to be careful with Joe with that as well, too, I think. Joe.
Yeah, for sure.
So Sasha Banks won that with the bank statement. And backstage, we set up a match for later in the night between Dean Ambrose and Jinder Mahal. But Seth Rollins came out and issued an open challenge for the Intercontinental Championship. I think we can all agree this was the match of the night tonight.
The minute he did this, you knew it was going.
Kevin Owens versus Seth Rollins. Long match. Thrilling match. Intense match. I know we've talked before. Sometimes these are knockout drag downs. I was not bored for a second of this.
This was awesome.
Oh, this is fantastic. But I always think normally they tip their hand, right? When it's all comers, open challenge. It's always
Right.
Create more excitement, I thought.
Yeah, and in a lot of ways, I could have almost seen them having Owens win too, because Owens needs something right now. Because having been beaten nonstop this whole summer, that would give him something and kind of get him back a little bit. Now I know you don't want to beat Rollins right after they just reunited the Shield either. So I was, I really wasn't sure exactly which way they were going to go. It wasn't the foregone conclusion a lot of these other matches were. So I thought this was one of the highlights of the show. I thought this was great.
I think it's one of the best matches they've had on free TV all year.
It was awesome.
That's saying something, because we just said this about the show, I want to say 2 weeks ago, right? Didn't I I forget who it was. I was like, this is one of the best matches we're going to see. Oh, it was last week. It was Reigns versus
Finn.
Yeah. Hey, give us one of these a week. Preferably more, preferably 2 or 3, but one is pretty good compared to what we had for the first half of this year.
Yeah.
See, what I liked about this is it did seem like Owens was going to win at many points, which is why after him staying in the ring, looking like he was about to cry and just saying he quits and then getting up and leaving was such a dynamic twist to the story. It not only reset him as a badass, but it gave. When's the last time you had emotion in a Kevin Owens storyline?
Well, not only that, it's been a while since he's had a good match too, because he's been this feud with Braun where he can't really get anything on Braun.
Yeah, right? Yeah, he runs away, hangs out in the front row. Yeah.
Yeah, so this was like the first time I feel like you've seen him go in a while. And so, I thought he looked fantastic. The storyline, there's so many ways they could go with this, with Owens quitting. They could just have him go to SmackDown. Maybe it's just, because he's not booked for any house shows for the next week and a half. He's not booked for the China show this weekend. So it could be just writing him off for a couple weeks, or maybe they're moving him to SmackDown. I mean, Owens is he's in a weird spot on Raw, but SmackDown's also pretty stacked, so I don't know if they really need him.
I still don't get it. Like you keep saying, we keep saying that they need heels. They need heels.
Yeah.
Kevin Owens came to that show, we thought, as their number one heel.
Mm-hmm.
If you remember, by process of elimination, because Brock couldn't wrestle every week, we're like, well, KO is kind of like the de facto number one heel, really.
Yeah.
And then they did nothing with him.
I wouldn't say buried him, but they came close. I mean, he was squashed like nothing at SummerSlam.
Yeah, he was pure comedy, just like, like almost not a chicken shit heel, but like a bratty heel.
He was a chicken shit heel.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, with Braun, he's like running away at every, turn, and Braun would constantly find him and beat the crap out of him. He's hiding in a porta potty.
All you had to do, guys, with one of those segments, just one or two of them, was have him be say the porta potty. Braun comes, finds him, opens the door, as if somehow homeboy has a bowling ball, smacks him in the freaking teeth with a bowling ball, and starts just opening him up with serious heat. Whatever. It takes 3 seconds to do. It gets him his heat back, and then you can go back to him running away from Braun for the next 2 or 3 weeks. They would never give KO that one moment of showing he can snap and even the playing field and be sadistic. They never did that.
Yeah, they were doing this for months, and he never once really got the better of Braun. He beat him, via technicality in a cage match because he was thrown off the top. But
don't you think, Raj, though, like everything, like Paul Heyman used to tell me this about my promos. He used to say, you know what, you're going to think this is crazy, Matt, but if you listen to Sid talk, of all people, he's actually really good. He was really good. I'm like, really, Sid? I think that's the best big man promo. What are you talking about? And he'd be like, no, Sid. He's like, listen to him. Sid would make you get to the edge of your chair and want to hear what he's saying because he's using the whisper voice. And then finally, when he wants to drive his point home, he'll start laying it in here, brother, and this is why you need to come watch me tonight. And then go back to the whisper voice again. Make you say edge of your seat and listen to what he's saying again. And he goes, it takes you on a ride.
Yeah.
So with storylines, it's very similar. You want to be able to take the guys, you got all of us on these rides, right? These ups and downs, and suck you in and push you back up. They didn't do that. If everything's constantly at this level, it just becomes static noise.
Yeah.
It just becomes so if the guy's yelling at his promo the whole time, static noise. If he's whispering the whole time, static noise. It becomes one level, and it doesn't do anything for you. Same thing with storyline writing. And that's what KO was. Him running around being a chicken shit heel made it just going, yeah.
Yeah, it was repetitive. Yeah, that's a good thing about Sid. He's kind of underappreciated with his promos because he did do some cool stuff. I mean, outside of the not having half the brains of you guys. Remember when he said that?
Yes.
But outside of that,
I wish I'd taken that advice earlier and understood what he even meant by it. I was so green I didn't even get it. But yeah.
But no, giving KO a chance to show off his intensity again tonight. I think that's the thing. I think he was all bark and no bite in pretty much his entire time on Raw. He never really got the better. So to have this, I think tonight was fantastic. Love to see where this goes and how far they're going to take it. He's already on the alumni section of the WWE.com.
Is he?
Yeah.
I like that.
And I'm sure their timing of this had to do with All In. They probably wouldn't be surprised to see him in the audience there this weekend. Well, I mean, I don't know. It makes sense, right?
I don't think they'd want to.
They would not. This is the one thing they would not want to touch.
Yeah. They don't want their fans to think that one of their guys is jumping ship or doing anything to help out another show.
So, I mean, let's talk about that for a second. Are you guys surprised online and even in the chat room? People like, did KO really quit? Like,
yeah, I mean, I feel like any storyline that you get some people always wondering, right? Like whether someone's fired or Kurt Angle last week, you always get a section that's wondering if that's real or if he's leaving or because sometimes it is. Remember, Batista quit. He legit left both times. So
I think because you're a news site, you're gonna get that. I definitely, you know what I mean. I don't get that at all. But yeah, I'd make fun of the person too if they did.
It's because it was so simple, right? To just be like, I quit and then walk out of there. Now, if he'd gone out there and cut a pipe bomb and said some stuff, was like, oh, that seemed really genuine. Even what he said before and where he set up his position in the company wasn't controversial or, it wasn't touching that line where you wonder. So, but I love this though, and I can't wait to see where they go with this story.
It sounds like they're doing something with Baron Corbin because remember he was on the phone later saying he was going to talk with him, and so I'm sure that leads to something. Maybe he entices Owens with another title shot or something at Hell in a Cell.
Free appetizers at TGI Fridays.
There you go.
Whatever it takes. Whatever it takes. So the P team versus the Revival. Good Lord, it keeps going and going and going. But the Revival won a title shot tonight with Dash, the Shatter Machine. Dash covered Axel for the non-title win. Now you might say this match was repetitive. This storyline is stupid. Where is it going? Who even cares? But then the Revival cut a pretty awesome promo talking about how the tag team division is a joke and they can have those titles whenever they want them.
That's it. That's it right there. That's playing to people's strengths, hiding their weaknesses. And I don't know what's taking this company so long to let them do this promo. But then again, where does it all go? I feel like Captain Downer tonight, everybody. I feel bad. I feel bad for everybody that I'm being this negative on everything.
Yeah, sorry. I was looking into something about Nick Jackson. Nick Jackson's sick, like really ill going into All In this weekend. And I'm sure he'll be there in some form. Who knows if he'll wrestle, though. So
today's Monday. Why are we talking?
So Cody is saying it's like a real bad virus that he's got, that Nick Jackson has. So
a pretty stat card though.
Right. Yeah. The Revival. All I could think of was when they're cutting the promo. I'm like, you guys are absolutely right. The tag division is a shame. It's shameful compared to what you've had in the past. And the B team, as long as, and I know a lot of people find them entertaining, but they are just a comedy act, and they're doing nothing for that tag division.
Nothing at all. That would be who I centered my promo around, and saying, you know what I mean? Look at these two. Look at these two. These are your tag team champions. These two guys.
Yeah, right.
Fans, I want you all to go back in time exactly, 1.5 years ago. Okay? And I want you to think about these two. Fast forward 1.5 years from then, and let me tell you that they're your tag team champions. Really? Yeah. That's where we're at, WWE? Like, seriously?
Yeah. You know what they could be doing to, they could have the Usos on Raw, have the Usos and the Revival feuding for the tag titles. You'd have killer matches. It would help bring, some intensity back to that division, because right now the Usos aren't doing anything.
Dude, they feel very fresh on Raw. Good call.
Yeah, I think that'd be huge. Get the titles off the B team as soon as you can, and move on.
I like that. I didn't think of the Usos. That's a good call.
Yeah.
The Usos haven't been on Raw since the brand split, right? They've been SmackDown the entire time.
Yeah, I think you're right.
They've done killer work on it too.
Oh,
right.
yeah. No, absolutely. I mean, they're a completely different team, I think.
Well, the SmackDown tag division feels like something, right? Like, it feels like that's why those matches get on the main card. It's not, kickoff show fodder.
Yeah.
Because you got the New Day, the Bludgeon Brothers, they were pushing them and, building them up to be something legit. And, the Usos, those three teams right there have just make that tag division feel like a lot more than Raw.
Yeah. So Elias out with his guitar. First though, they did announce that SummerSlam is coming to Toronto in 2019. They were in Toronto tonight. Elias out there taking shots at Toronto, saying that when Drake said he started from the bottom, Toronto is the bottom.
Awesome. That's like that's Drake's like big line. Like,
yep, started from the bottom, now I'm here.
Yeah. That was so well played.
Yeah.
I couldn't have made that sound any lamer when I just said that, but
no, that's his gimmick. That's his shtick. That's his hook that every girl and guy sing at every club when that comes on. And that was so funny. He killed that.
Yeah.
He messed up the joke of the Stanley Cup joke, though. I mean, his version of it, I think. I mean, the traditional joke is, why is the Hockey Hall of Fame in Toronto? So Toronto hockey fans know what the Stanley Cup looks like, because, the Leafs never win it. But yeah, sports slams at it. I thought he did a good job of getting a reaction from the crowd. But then when Trish Stratus came out, though, oh my God. I mean, were you expecting that, Matt?
Are we listening? This is one of our surprises.
Trish, I didn't expect it tonight. No,
I didn't either, but you said there were surprises tonight. Is this one of them?
Yeah, I think this definitely.
Yeah. It was awesome. Awesome.
Yeah, this people in the chat pointing out that Elias almost broke character. He looked like he was all smiles when Trish was in there, like he was having a hard time being nasty. Trish, she's in fantastic shape, and she's super over, and so I thought it was a cool little segment. My thing with Elias is I just feel like they wasted their timing with him, right? Like, when someone's at their peak and then it's time to get them to, strike when the iron's hot is what I would say in the past. Like, Elias was hot. It was time for him to beat Seth for the Intercontinental title instead of Dolph. And by not doing it, he seems like he's just treading water right now.
100%. This is what I was telling you about having a conversation with Braun. I think it's because they're the only game in town at the end of this. It's just like, well, you know what? We did all this writing, and like, it's not time for him to win it yet. So, what's going to happen if we don't give it to him when he's red hot? They're going to leave the building? No, and that's horrible thinking.
Yeah, you miss out on making stars that way.
They totally do, and then they continue this chase their tail routine with finding the next big main event superstar tomorrow. And I could list like 10 to 20 that should have been that guy already.
Yeah,
Cena's spot. I'm being serious.
Well, don't you think it's because it's who Vince sees as the stars? So Vince has Roman.
He sees Braun as the guy.
Yeah,
he sees Braun as the guy too, guys.
I think he sees Elias too. It's clear with how much screen time he gives him, and he's trusting him on the mic more than most other guys on the show.
Yeah,
it's true.
They just have no ideas for him, so he's kind of doing the same thing. It just feels repetitive right now. Even though he's funny, he does his, he kills it, but it's just been kind of the same thing.
And Raj, who's pushing him? Who's pushing this company? Right. To force their hand and say, you really need to start listening to your fans. When we want something, we want it. Like, though they did kind of sort of do it, right? With Punk after a while, with Daniel Bryan after a while. It was begrudgingly, but they did eventually get there.
Yeah.
With no competition.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know the answer. I can't figure that out. I know they're not stupid. I know they're not blind or deaf. I don't know what it is that they think that they're cool with going an extra 90 days well past these guys and girls being red smoking hot.
Yeah.
White hot in that one time with Braun coming out of the ambulance looking like freaking Michael Myers.
Right.
Yeah. So this with Trish decking Elias, out came Ronda Rousey, and that transition.
So wait, Elias's line, it was he's like, "You got eyes for me," or something like that, but I don't date 60-year-olds or something like that. That was
very cool, dude. Very cool. By the way, we got to put her over. Trish, for being cool enough to come on this show, she has nothing to gain. She has nothing to gain by making all these comebacks to back and forth to WWE, in and out. You know what I mean? I think that's so cool of her.
Yeah.
I agree. And we had some promo build up with Alexa Bliss coming out, calling out Trish, calling out Ronda, calling out Natty, and segueing that into Mickie James coming out. And then I got to give them credit for this. We had Natalya versus Alicia Fox, and the women ringside did not get involved into a 3-on-3 brawl.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the first time that's happened.
And Mickie James, she's been out of action for what, like a month, a little over a month. Yeah. So back from injury. Yeah, Natalya
won with the sharpshooter on Alicia Fox. And yeah, tonight being Toronto, Natalya, in tribute to her father, and they gave more screen time to talking about his passing. I thought a real feel-good moment just in seeing her between SummerSlam and tonight, having her back.
Yeah, this is where I first met her doing not even dark matches. She wasn't old enough. She was in the ring doing the drills, like pre-workout drills that we would do before. All the OVW guys and girls would have to get in the ring hours before the show would start and show all the agents what we could do. Because you'd be flown into wherever TV would be, like a select few of you. And when we were in Toronto, that's where I first met Nat. And I remember, like, you're 17? Are you effing kidding me? I'm like, this chick is she's going to be the real deal. And then I found out after that was, P.S. Jim Neidhart's daughter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just like you could see it, So this girl, she's been doing this forever, and that was cool. I love anything with her where she gets her just due. I always like.
Absolutely. And then backstage, the women after that match were greeted by the Bella Twins, the winners of that match, Trish, Ronda, and Natalya.
Didn't they go away?
Yeah, well.
The fans were booing them pretty fierce.
Thank you.
So they're going to be back on Raw next Monday against the Riot Squad.
And plus Brie is involved with the Daniel Bryan feud. Like she's doing a mixed tag match at Hell in a Cell. So again, they're not sticking with the brand extension.
Yeah.
For the Bella Twins. Like, why not? Why not just keep them Brie on one show? You don't need them both on Raw. You don't.
They're Captain and Admiral over, apparently. They can do whatever the hell they want. But what I was going to say is I'm being hypocritical here, but I do like their implementation of her with the Daniel Bryan, like this past SmackDown.
That was cool.
I thought that was cool.
Yeah. No, I thought it was good on SmackDown, not so good here, and this just came across as kind of annoying. And it's funny, like people would crap on Brock for being part-time, right? Everyone in this segment outside of Natalya is part-time.
Oh, yeah.
Good use of Trish.
Yeah,
absolutely. And at Evolution, she's facing Alexa. I like how they just sort of announced it. No,
like P.S. just a girl in the back.
Right?
Like, no, it's Trish Stratus. It's like the greatest of all time. Like people usually assume, right?
Right.
One of them.
You have her out tonight. Why not do an angle and then announce the match?
Yes.
Well, it's like Triple H versus The Undertaker, which was announced, and now they're trying to build up some hype with it. I mean,
you're right, actually.
Forced.
Yeah, you're right. That should have been a huge to-do.
Yeah, and The Undertaker's going to be on Raw next week.
Yeah, even crazier.
And Shawn Michaels. So I'm guessing Shawn Michaels will probably be a special referee again in this.
So cool.
And so you could have shot an angle next week because you still have enough time until the Super Show, to shoot the angle and get people excited, as opposed to you just randomly kind of announce it and it's there. I don't know.
Yeah. It's kind of, they're trying to do too much at once now because they're building Australia, they're building Hell in a Cell, and they're building Evolution.
Right. All at the same time.
At the same time. And it's not going to slow down because then isn't the second Saudi show happening in early November and then Survivor Series in late November. So there's going to be 3 builds going on for the next couple months at any given time.
Yeah.
Handicap match tonight. Baron Corbin put Bobby Lashley in a match against the Ascension. So that was another surprise. When's the last time they were on Raw?
Say who it was again.
The Ascension. Connor and Victor.
Versus
Bobby Lashley.
No, bleep. That was what I said.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't want to say anything because it's going to be negative. So, Raj, take it. I'm not saying anything about this segment.
I mean, it was a squash match. The Ascension haven't done anything. I'm fine with it, but again,
I'm not worried about the Ascension being squashed.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about the Ascension's feelings. I'm talking about my boy Bobo working against these two. No offense, these two guys, and not being put out there as a premier main event act.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Yeah. I mean, he should, again, we've talked about this before. I feel like he's one of those that would benefit from a heel turn. He's kind of doing nothing right now. But he's getting TV time, which a lot of other people aren't getting. So good for him.
Yeah. So Bobby, of course, won that match. Dean Ambrose versus Jinder Mahal. Jinder was out with Sunil Singh. Dean Ambrose came out wrestling without a shirt on and in tighter fitting athletic jeans.
Bigger legs, dude. It's another thing I said. And Braun goes, he goes, yeah, what he goes, what do we call that? I'm like, I don't know. He got bigger. He goes, no, it's called the same thing I say to the NXT guys and girls. Enjoy it now when you're at home and able to go to the gym every day and eat right, because it's all going away once you're on the road 5 days. He's right. It's so hard to maintain that physique once you're on the road. So I'm interested to see how long Dean can hold this together. But his legs look humongous right now. He put a lot of work in. But I'm telling you, it's going to go by the wayside very slowly because it's impossible to maintain that kind of physique 5 days on the road every week like that.
Yeah, he looked good. I mean, he
looked awesome.
He looks like an athlete, whereas before
never did. It looks like he should be changing my oil.
Right, exactly. I mean, he had that.
Which is a solid gimmick. The guy from Jiffy Lube. Now he's wrestling.
I'm not sure you want them as your WWE champion, but so he's looking the part now, more or less like a top guy. So
yes, 100%.
Looks good.
Yeah, and of course he won that with the dirty deeds on Jinder. After that, Roman and Braun backstage putting aside their differences, saying they're going to work tonight and go out there against Drew and Dolph. But in 20 days at Hell in a Cell, they will face each other, leading us to Roman Reigns and Braun Strowman versus Dolph Ziggler and Drew McIntyre. A match that, I don't know, Roman was having trouble tagging Braun back in. And then at some point it devolved and, everyone was beating each other up and out came the Shield.
I like this because you know what they always do when they do this, where the guys wrestling at the upcoming pay-per-view are forced to team up. Usually there's some misunderstanding and they start yelling and so that's what I thought was going to happen. They do that every time. But with this, it's flat out Braun Strowman turning heel, not taking the tag, and then just kicking the crap out of Roman, and so it's a DQ.
And bro, it's always some ridiculous misdirection.
Yeah.
And then, like, the worst is, and this is why I get pissed with some of the younger guys that do it because it's lazy. One guy, let's say it's Roman, he'll hold the opponent like this, around his arms like this, and Braun will get up and start going, the other tag team, I'm going to get him. And he runs, and he throws this ridiculous-looking clothesline, which you would never throw for some man holding another man. It's never, ever been connected on. And then he moves, and he hits Roman and goes, oh, what happened? Oh. Right. And then they go back and forth, and then there's the breakup. So lame.
Yeah, so I'm glad they didn't do that. What they did here was different. Braun, like I said, they need heels, but Braun is so over as a babyface. It just doesn't seem like the right time to do it, but maybe they're just desperate, I guess. This doesn't make sense. There has to be something we're missing here, dude. But you don't come this far. To not put that title on Braun as a big monster babyface. No way, dude. I think in their eyes, it's more important to have Roman as the big baby face, as opposed to Braun.
I
I mean, it's like we pointed out, like Braun, he gets cheered and everything, but he doesn't really move merchandise and things like that. So,
well, 2 shirts he doesn't, but I'm judging off of by people's reactions of what we see on TV.
Yeah.
Who's getting a bigger babyface reaction between those two? It's Braun.
Mm-hmm.
He's rightfully earned it. He's rightfully earned that spot. I don't get what the confusion here is, other than, yes, them being stubborn and going, oh, Roman needs to be the top babyface. That's what we planned. It's got to happen. And it's like, God damn, stay out of your own way, guys. The money is in Roman as a heel.
Yeah, well, that's a broken record. They're not doing that. But yeah, so Braun, it's clearly they want Roman cheered in their match in this feud.
Okay, Raj, is it possible that he could do it just for this match and go back to being face?
I mean, he's easy to turn, right? Like they could turn him at any time. It's kind of like Undertaker there for a while, where he was
Braun. I mean,
yeah, but Undertaker there for a while when he was feuding with Steve Austin. Remember that one summer when Austin, and he was kind of going back and forth a lot. So I could easily see them doing that with Strowman once he's done with Roman, easily going back into being that baby face.
I'm telling you, he's really solved. Like I'm telling you, like the hardest thing in big man wrestling to be able to pull off. I'm being serious. An authentic baby face reaction. Like that's so hard to do because we don't look like the fans. Fans want to generally get behind, yes, a superstar that looks like a superhero, but more importantly, guys that they can relate to. Yeah. How could somebody relate to somebody that's damn near 7 feet tall, 350 pounds? They can't usually. So therefore, it is built-in heat among fans. It's easier to boo that guy. He looks like a bully. I want the underdog no matter who it is physically. That's just a natural built-in reaction we all have, or the fans have. So for him to pull this off, I hate that they just throw it away. I don't like it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I agree with that. And that's the thing. So I don't know if I'm super stoked about where the storyline's going, but I thought the middle of the show was fantastic tonight, and the rest of it was.
I should have said that. It wasn't just bookended. It was solid in the middle.
Yeah.
And I like this too. I mean, even though whether you agree with them turning him or not, it was something different. Yes, it was. And it felt like they're getting their storylines in order.
We needed to see tonight's episode. I felt like I had to see it. It wasn't, I could have afforded to miss it.
Oh, when they called the tag matches the main event, I almost tweeted this. I was like, oh, great. They're announcing at the beginning this is a filler episode of Raw. Next week's Labor Day. They're not going to really get into this until a week before Hell in a Cell. I am shocked at how good the middle of tonight's show was.
Good call, Glenn.
Yeah. I like the end too. The Shield got beat down, so it's clearly so. I'm guessing Braun is kind of loosely aligned now with Drew and Dolph, and they're going to be doing Shield versus, Braun, Dolph, and Drew at live events. So,
not the reformed Wyatt family, as many people predicted would be Braun's backup.
I just think Luke Harper. I don't know. I think Luke is.
I would like that.
I think he's done so much to get out of the Wyatt family shadow to get him back in. I don't know. I think it takes him backwards a little with the Bludgeon Brothers.
Yeah.
He's no longer like forever before they did the Bludgeon Brothers gimmick. You just saw him as Wyatt family outcast, and it took him a while to kind of recreate, whatever he did. I didn't like the Bludgeon Brothers gimmick either, but you're no longer just thinking Wyatt family when he's there.
You aren't thinking of this big bearded backwoods guy though. It's the same thing.
Now he's Game of Thrones-ish, right?
No, he just moved to the other side of the swamp and got his own place. Left the compound.
Yeah, I mean, you could. I mean, it would be hot as hell to do it. They still could have done it, but.
Although match-wise, like as far as action goes, I love anything with Dolph and Drew. Like, come on, how can we?
That's what. Yeah, that's one of the reasons I like Dolph and Drew is because you're moving Drew up now to that main event spot, 100%. And he's getting there, so he needs those big feuds to kind of get him to that next level. And
what I like about this, Drew's right in the middle of the two others, right? Braun's the big guy, all right, and Dolph's the smaller guy. He's gonna be the bump and feeder. So this sets it up perfectly for Drew to show he can work because now he can bump and feed, even though he's 6'7" and jacked. He's going to now have to because Braun's the hot tag weight in there. Or if they do ever do you can't do a hot tag as a heel, believe it or not, in wrestling. But do you know what I'm saying? Like Braun will be the heavy. And I think this will get to show Drew what we saw in TNA in Ring of Honor. He can be a full-on worker. He just doesn't have to be the guy that doesn't ever come off his feet. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
Which when they book him strong, he does. I like watching Drew work, and I think that gets him more over. So this is set up for him primed, I think.
Yeah.
To really step up here and shine more than, in my opinion, both others, surprisingly. I think he can.
Yeah. And so this Braun thing is not a temporary thing. At that Super Showdown event in October, they're going to do Dolph, Drew, and Braun Strowman versus Seth, Reigns, and versus the Shield and Ambrose.
So I'm going to focus on that then. I'm going to focus on my anger that they're turning Braun. So,
Yeah.
This will be good for sure.
Yeah.
It's just all about Kevin Owens for me at this point. That's what I feel the most invested in right now.
Well, Kevin Owens is also booked for the Australia Super Show. It's him and Elias against Bobby Lashley and John Cena.
Oh wow.
Whatever the storyline is, I'm sure it'll in the next couple of weeks it'll
make zero sense.
Hopefully. I mean, not hopefully, but there's good odds that that's what happens.
This was good tonight. This was a good episode of Raw. I know we're nitpicking aspects of it. This is so much better than most that we've watched. And I would recommend to anyone, even if you're one of the people that listen to this podcast and skip Raw, go watch Seth and KO at least and all of that. Yeah. That was fantastic. Other big news this week. We've been waiting for it. Finally happened, I think, once people stopped asking so much. But Neville got released from the WWE.
It's weird.
Wow.
It's really weird. So PW Insider is reporting that Neville was spotted last week in Pittsburgh. And that's where they have all the wrestlers go to do their medicals. That WWE has the wrestlers go to do
tested,
that. Yeah. So it's like, why is Neville there? There weren't any indie shows or anything. And then also, he's still on their active roster on their website.
Huh.
No.
I mean, can you really put a lot of stock in those things? Like TNA used to mess that up all the time.
Well, KO's in the alumni section.
They already moved KO to the alumni section.
That's obviously done on purpose. But you know
yeah. But no, the WWE's on top of it. They're really good with that stuff. So, and they'd made it a point not to move Neville. All these other guys, as soon as they, get their release, they're moved over. Even NXT. I remember, who was it? Ho Ho Lund. I found out about him getting released and I posted it, and within hours he was they had updated it. It was already updated on their roster section. So they're good with that stuff. So I don't know. It almost weirdly seems like he might end up back in WWE.
So is this a way to get him on All In? I mean, I don't know. Why today?
I guess it was last week.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know. It doesn't make sense to release him to bring him back unless maybe they wanted to do, I don't know, and something with NXT UK, to having him go over there.
Oh, it actually makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, but they've already filmed the NXT UK stuff for the next several months.
Why couldn't he just be under contract and still do that? Is it because it'd be bigger, like a surprise if he just shows up and?
Yeah, I don't know.
Instead, if he's not under contract, no one's expecting him to show up maybe, and he's a surprise element on the NXT UK because it will get a humongous pop.
Yeah, he would. Yeah, I mean, it's a weird one. I haven't seen that where someone gets released and then it almost seems like they might be going back.
Is WWE that myopic to really though do something that far out for one pop?
No. Especially not with like Neville. And that's no disrespect to Neville. I love him. I'm a huge fan. But they didn't see him as that, right? Like he's a 205 Live guy. So if they're going to go through all that trouble, you'd think they'd do it with the guys they have been pushing as main event guys or close.
I will say this is a guy who does not watch 205 Live. I'm not against it. It just says nothing there that's going to draw me to it. But that said, Neville, when he was there, him and Aries. Even Neville really by himself versus what's the guy's the redhead kid. What was his name? He was really over when he first came.
Jack Gallagher. Jack Gallagher.
Even Jack Gallagher versus Neville. Everything he was in, I wanted to watch. So I would watch specifically because of Neville consistently. I never missed it. And I think there's been a huge, huge drop in the interest of that division. You can argue it's on a primetime TV versus the network. I'm just talking about fans generally talking about it as a whole. Yeah.
People are bringing up Neville versus Pete Dunne for the UK title. What a great feud that would be.
I'd tune into that one. Yep.
Yeah, so we'll see.
Yeah. What else do we got here? Before we take this
So,
on?
do you guys hear about Jason Sensation?
Oh yeah. Do we really want to give? We're late in the podcast. Do we really want to give that dipshit press for this?
Yeah,
I know him. What did he do?
So he tonight was going to Raw. He's had issues with depression stuff over the years, but he sent out a tweet before Raw. He wrote, "I got my gun through security and will shoot myself in the head and kill myself during tonight's Raw in Toronto. Don't you dare miss it. Thanks for the memories, WWE."
Oh my God, Jason.
Yeah, so his Twitter was deactivated shortly after that. People were reaching out to him. So Vince Russo, about an hour later, reached out to him. I texted Vince and I asked if he had heard anything, and Vince replied back that let me pull it up.
I wish I'd seen that. I would have called him too, man. I can't believe he. Wow.
Yeah, so he replied, "It was a joke. He is okay and he is sorry." So, obviously WWE is investigating the Toronto police. I don't know if he actually went to the show or not, if he was even there or whatever. But, with what happened just over the weekend, to joke about that sort of thing, it's pretty reprehensible. And
two of my boys were in that tournament.
Oh, were they really?
Yeah. It's an hour and a half for me. That's insane.
Yeah.
And it was a big deal. I mean, the police were up and down the aisles tonight in there hearing about it. WWE was aware of it. It was a big deal tonight. And that's what I'm saying. It's like, if this was a mental health thing and a cry for help, I don't mean to disparage the guy, but I mean, come on, you don't do something like this in this climate, in this day and age, and put everybody on alert at the arena.
I don't read news sites. I'm out of the loop in that regard, right? So I didn't know this about Jason, and I know him. So I feel like a bad person right now. I didn't know that he suffers from whatever you guys are saying that.
No, I'm saying if he does, I don't know that for a fact. But the fact that even saying that was a joke, it's just like, come on. Things are so serious right now. We do have such a huge mental health problem.
He's clearly got some mental issues. And he's documented it in the past on his Twitter. So, yeah. But to your point, Glenn, that's especially after this weekend, and to make a joke, anything remotely, in that vein is just disgusting.
And I hate to say this, but how fortunate have we been as wrestling fans? I mean, this industry hasn't been affected.
Don't say it.
Don't say it. Yeah.
But yes, 100% right, Glenn. Yes.
Yeah.
100% right. You're absolutely right.
People are wondering who he was. So he did some stuff for WWE back in the 90s. He would do these impersonations. He did one of Owen Hart. That was just so dead on. And then Owen Hart put him in a sharpshooter. He would do like Ric Flair, Bret Hart, Steve Austin. He was
so good.
Just dead on. Like you would think that's who they were.
He got signed to a developmental freaking contract, guys, based on how talented his impersonations of other people were. That's how talented he was. He was in the very, very, very now famous DX versus DX impersonating what do you call it? The Nation domination.
Yeah.
He's the one playing Owen Hart, and that with a big beak on his nose. So all you fans that are younger, you've seen that at least. That's who Jason Sensation is.
Yeah, if you look on the site, if you go to the article about it, you'll see the clip from when he was on Raw. So yeah, that it sucks.
It's sad. It's sad.
Absolutely. Thankfully, everyone's okay, even Mr. Sensation himself. So what else happened? I feel like, so is Matt Hardy retired? Is that official now?
It's not official, but it seems like it. I mean, with WWE, they usually don't. They a lot of times don't do big deals with the retirements, and Christian was retired without any kind of fanfare, so it could be one of those deals where he's just kind of done. But they did a send-off for him at a live event over the weekend.
Very cool. Good. I'm happy for Matt. I'm happy that he's still working with them, right, in some capacity backstage, right?
Yeah, and if his injuries, the stuff that he's suffering from, he's wrestled a hard style, so better earlier than later.
Dude, Hulk Hogan, 7 back surgeries from a leg drop. Matt Hardy, every night, leg drop from the second rope.
Yeah.
For many more years and many more matches, he did that.
Yeah.
So Matt is banged up. I'm happy that he gets to finally. He got to come back to WWE. All should be right in the world, with Matt Hardy, and then gets to go out in the sunset, healthy.
Yeah.
I like that.
So did they announce Ronda's match for the Super Show? Is that
they announced it for Hell in a Cell? She's facing Alexa Bliss.
Oh no, I'm also.
But they haven't announced her and Nikki Bella yet.
No, for the Super Show in Australia, I'm actually seeing it on Wrestling Inc. right now. I don't know when this went up, Raj, but Natalie in the chat mentioned, so Ronda and the Bellas versus the Riot Squad. Yep. So the Bellas are back for a while.
Dude, that's a big deal for Riot Squad, huh?
Yeah. That, I mean, 3 of the biggest, names, I don't know.
You know what I mean? Definitely. lift them up a little bit, though. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
No, good for the Riot Squad.
So, Ronda and the Bellas versus the Riot Squad.
Yeah.
And that's
Can I just say this really quick? Ronda and the Bellas would never get on in real life. Like when she came up with that term, I hate to say it, guys, but the do nothing bees.
Yeah.
Like, what's the stereotype of one? At least, one of the Bellas is kind of sort of that.
Well, you're coming off
They
all
have
that.
They've changed that perception of themselves, right? They have put in work. When they first got there is what I'm saying. And for the longest part of their career, I even would say that they were there on looks, not so much on having good matches. Let's be honest.
Yeah, for sure. And Nikki did. I felt Nikki more than Brie made great strides in the ring.
100%.
And but I don't know. There's just something. Just feels like that's done. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what they do. But I think with Nikki, with all the melodrama with Cena, that I think fans are just so just tired of it. And so
they put in. I gotta give them credit. They did put in work and they've improved immensely. And they were having very good matches. Look at her match versus Stephanie McMahon. You want a litmus test, like on where you're at as a wrestler? You get put in there with a non-wrestling talent like that.
Yeah.
And pull off the matches she did, and then I got to give them the credit. I just never was fans of theirs personally as a fan watching the show, but I could definitely respect how much better they've gotten. I'm saying just Ronda though. She's supposed to be this badass, what? She stands alone. She don't got no friends. She don't need no friends.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make sense to me. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. What time's Super Show going to start? U.S. time.
He'll be like in the morning.
But it's not Australia. So.
Yeah. We'll look that up for next time. But it's going to be really early.
Yep. Cool, guys. Well, let's wrap it up and take it home. Mr. Matt Morgan, what do you want to plug before we head out here?
12:30 a.m. I again will be moving over onto my Up live streaming broadcast where I'll be doing Q&As with you guys on anything you want to talk about from tonight's Raw, maybe SmackDown, bodybuilding, my son saying yet another new word this week.
Oh, that's awesome.
Nice.
I've got him to say so I've got him up to now. He's nonverbal autistic for those that you guys don't know. Got him saying mama, dada, and cheese all in the last 5 weeks. What's up?
Nice.
He's crushing it. So whatever you guys want to talk about, check me out on Up Live. Download it. It's a free app on your phone. And look up Matt Morgan, 12:30 a.m. though, and I'll be on. All right.
Awesome. Raj, what's coming up on the website?
I got more from my interview with Cody today. We got all-in coverage this weekend, so it's going to be a busy week.
Cool. I'm Glenn Rubenstein. You can find me on Twitter at Glenn Rubenstein. Greatly appreciate a follow. And we'll see you back here Wednesday, 12 noon Eastern, to talk about SmackDown Live on the next edition of the Wrestling Inc. podcast. Take care.
See you guys in 8 minutes.
8 minutes. Wow. That